I never was hugely into diecast collecting, but back in 2012, I walked into a store and there on the pegs was this Dom's Charger, uh, Mr. T's van kit from Knight Rider, car which I didn't get, Ghostbuster Slimer edition, and I was actually hoping that the retro series would put out one particular car, but I never really seen them anymore. Not nothing that really interested me. Mostly they started putting out flying type of cars, and I wasn't interested in it. And then recently, back in May of this year, 2019, I ran a Google search looking for the car that I actually wanted, and ran into this company, Greenlight, who put out a 1970 Charger with a blown engine, and it looks way better and way more like Dom's Charger than Hot Wheels does. Some people argue over and over that the Hot Wheels looks more like it. I'm like, nah, get out of here. Well, in my search, I found another company called Racing Champions. Here you go. That put out Brian's Supra from the movie. This thing looks 10 times more like the Supra from the original Fast and the Furious movie than the Hot Wheels one does. I mean, doesn't even come close. Look at that. Doesn't even have the top on it. It's convertible. Now, I'm not knocking Hot Wheels. They do make good castings. The 55 Gasser, it's off the chain. I mean, blown motor, headlights, turn signals. I mean, real riders, look at that, down to the plate. You know, tail lights, all of it. They do well with this Gasser casting. I like it. So I picked up, typical 50-year anniversary. The things I don't like about it is they have this habit of putting their banner all over it, and I just think it takes away from the car. It makes it look like a toy, which is what it is. Ultimately, it's not an adult collectible, but that kind of nonsense going on. But to each their own. Hot Wheels also puts out monster trucks, and here we go. The same company, Greenlight, put out the first series, Bigfoot, which was not a card crusher. It was the king of the mountain. This sucker went up muddy hills and all that stuff, and it was known as the king of the mountain. Special motor they had built, and this thing kind of set the gateway open for today's monster trucks, which aren't really trucks, but people today are just fanatic. And I hear people say that Bigfoot is garbage. It doesn't jump far, it doesn't jump high, it doesn't do all this stuff. Well, it was a real truck. And the Bigfoot, when it actually started crushing cars, is what Greenlight has done here with the second version, is when it put the gigantic tires on there, and it was doing the climb at some place I forget. It did an exhibition, and the driver actually crushed cars, and from there the rest is history. So these people knocking Bigfoot, and they're going after those cheap plastic frame monster trucks from Monster Jam and stuff, saying they're more realistic. Bigfoot created and started the whole thing, so without him, you have no Monster Jam, monster fake trucks, with the tubes and the fake fiberglass bodies. No, this thing was legit. The motor was custom built. These motors weren't something like they have going on today. So Greenlight's done exceptionally well with this casting. I mean, it looks just like the original. And they're fixing to put out the one where he has the big white rims he got off of the Australian car, Australian train card or wherever. They're gonna put it out. Some of y'all that collect this stuff know what I'm talking about, but they're gonna put that one out. I plan on getting that too. But I've only been collecting since May. Greenlight, I've seen people on here talk about having quality control issues. Yes, I'll agree, they do have some, but most of what I've collected hasn't been too bad. But I overall, I don't collect everything just to have a set or a series. I collect things, I guess, from like movies and iconic stuff, pop culture, like stuff from we remember back in the day growing up. And Bigfoot would be one of them. I mean, just look at the detail they got going on there. But speaking of detail, I stumbled into these guys right here, Autoworld. This Cadillac casting of theirs, it's a Coupe de Ville. It's just so spot on. I mean, the camera picks up a lot more than the naked eye, man. These things just look realistic as all can be. All get out. They're just, look at the detail on the hubcaps, white walls. I mean, look at that. Coupe de Ville, Cadillac, the emblem. Look at the plates. You didn't even read it. It's got actual writing on it. Coupe de Ville on the side. I mean, they've done really well. Look at that interior. Man, that blue interior is just crushing it. And the glass, it's so clear. And it's such a, I can't explain it. It's just mind-blowing, the detail they put in this thing. Can't really get the hood up too much on this one, and I do not want to just jerk it all the way up because concerned I'll break it. But yeah, it's got the carburetor cover on it, the whole 9 yards. I mean, up close you can really see. So I went ahead and I actually, here I only show a few, but I got practically almost every Coupe de Ville casting they've put out, even Target ones. But like, I'm late to the game in May. I've had to chase a few of them. I've paid a pretty good price for, and the rest of them actually I just paid a normal price. I found a little place, hobby store, you know, and I was able to get a hold of a couple of Coupe de Villes there. I got the white one. I don't show it in here. I got a few others, but I'm gonna crack this booger open because this is actually my favorite. That white vinyl top, man. This Cadillac, which is one I found, I couldn't believe it, yesterday of all things, 7/17/2019. I found two of them hanging on the pegs at a Walmart. But this thing, look at the detail on that, man. This thing is just, it's spot on. It just is. You have to see them up close in person. But I mean, even the emblem, it's, the detail on it is so tiny, but it's there. It's not just a blob or a blotch. It's the literal Cadillac symbol at that level. I mean, at that size and that level of detail is just mind-blowing. I'm taken back by this car. You know, to the eye, it's something else. Yeah, look at that white walls. Even got the Cadillac emblem on the hubcaps. Look at the back. I mean, just look at that all the way around. You can even read it. Coupe de Ville. Look at that. Cadillac emblem, says Cadillac on the back. I mean, they've just gone all out on these cars, and this is, I have to admit, it's one, it is not my favorite. I've heard people say it's their favorite. It is one of my favorite castings from Autoworld. But I'm a huge Mopar fan. They've put out the Challenger. I've seen a lot of people out here now, they don't like it. I like it. I'm waiting for them to do a Charger. I really hope they do a Charger, a Duster, whole 9 yards. But look at that, detail under that hood, man. It's got the cover. You can see it in there. Carburetor, you know, cover, whole 9 yards. It's not like, I explained, it's not huge detail, but it's there. It's good. I can't get over it. Look how clear that glass is. You can see my finger all the way to the other side. Bottom is metal. I'm not gonna show it. Other people have shown this before. This is just mainly like some of my collection. I just feel like putting up. I got this Cadillac El Dorado last week. You can see that it says Eldo on the plate. It's gold. I mean, just look at the detail. I mean, jeez. If these guys were to do Boss Hogg's Cadillac, that'd be, they'd blow it out of the water. I mean, I think if these guys did just like any of the movie cars, they'd blow probably every other company out of the water. Look at the emblem. It's just, it's amazing. The vinyl top, I mean, they put some serious effort into this. It really did. But it's got rubber tires. I have an Invader right there. I was waiting for him to come out. Some of y'all see him. So I was filming this actually outdoor. But there you can see better the engine. You can see the carburetor cover. You can even see how they replicated the radiator. I'm gonna get rid of the Invader. But it's part of outdoors filming. It was dark, so I was trying to get some light going outside so I could film. But this is their more recent one, but it's, I got their 150 limited case that comes with the keychain, but I also picked this one up to crack open. But this is a really nice Eldo. smoky gray, black top. I mean, I'm gonna zoom in so y'all can see this. But look at that. Look at that writing on that front fender. Man, tail lights on the side. They even replicated the chrome piece that goes down the middle, the chrome around the windows. I mean, they just went all out on these things, man. Some people don't like these as much. I think whatever Autoworld does, they do exceptionally well. I mean, this is an actual adult collectible model. And for the size, these guys are just blowing it out the water, man. Literally. They're blowing the competition out the water when it comes to American cars. They are just blowing the competition away. Their 60s and 70s vehicles are some of my favorites. Yes, I know some people complain they do the same cars over and over in different colors, blah blah blah. But the thing is it's good. It's good work, and people are just barely discovering them. So people are gonna get what they can and what they like. You might like a gray one, someone else might like a green one or something, and they're doing them in every color, and not everyone's discovering these. I mean, I seen one last year, and that's the only time I'd seen one in a Walmart in all my life, and it was that Dodge Dart Phoenix. That is an awkward looking car. Is it the Phoenix? Yeah, it's one of those. It's not a Dodge Dart Phoenix. What is it called? I'll have to look it up. It's an oddball looking car. It's the only one I've ever seen on the page. And I was like, oh, that's a bizarre looking car, and I just overlooked it. But in my search, I found Greenlight, stumbled onto these guys, and the rest was history. I really actually have been targeting mostly Autoworld. I'm trying to collect colors I like, but these Coupe de Villes, I did go after them because it is a really good casting. So is the Eldorado. I mean, all this stuff is good. It's exceptional. But here the other thing is I actually opened these, put them in the video because they don't fit in the 6-car case that Autoworld put out. So I picked up a different display case, and I plan on putting them 4 at a time inside the display case. And I actually used some things out the display case to try to create a little not diorama, but something to display them on as I go, some of my collection. But there it is. I picked them up, put them inside this thing. I got 4 more I'm probably gonna put inside another one. But pretty much that was the gist of it. But here I'm gonna get into my favorite casting. Is this the lead sled, and their own version of it. July 4th of this year, I got into an eBay bidding war for a lead sled in ultra red. I've never seen one of these things, but then again, I've only been at it since May. And this is July, and I lost by 23 cents. I was irate, just stomping and swinging everywhere. I couldn't believe it. It's like 23 cents and half a second left, and I was trying to go up on the bid, and bam, got beat out of it. It's kind of depressing, but nonetheless, this lead sled is off the chain. The detail on these side windshields, those stickers, literally all of them are sponsor badges. You can literally read them. This is a legitimate car. It comes out of the Miko Model auction. I don't know if some of you watched my previous video where I was talking about, I've been to a couple of these auctions, and I've seen quite a few of the cars that I collect in real life. I won't lie and say, oh yeah, I've seen that car in person. No, but I've seen it online in the Miko auction, because I actually looked it up when I seen the casting. I was like, this thing's off the chain. But it looked familiar, and what it was a Midwest drag racing or a hot rod car. But it's pretty awesome. And I'm showing you here the detail on the black version that they did. It's not the actual lead sled, but this is a 69 Chevy Kingswood, and they did another version of it. They have one that's in raw. That doesn't really interest me. The actual ultra red does. I like the way the ultra red one looks. I don't really care too much for their ultra reds, but just that one particular ultra red is the only one I actually want. But I'm just blown away by these guys. I wish they had done the tires like they did on this black one, on the white one. That would have looked really, really sharp. But the whole reason I started collecting, I only got 5 vehicles back in 2012, is this iconic car right here. I've always wanted this car in real life and even in a model, and I've never been able to find it. Although I've seen some people here on YouTube, they have them in the large scale, but I'm not really that interested in large scale cars like that. But this thing is what led me to Autoworld, bizarre as that might sound. And it's just off the chain too. It's got the MF on the plate. It's very well done for the size of car that it is. It looks just like the freaking Mad Max car. I'll just say it, last of the V8s. It's my own favorite casting, actually. I mean, of course, next to all of Autoworld stuff, but it was, as far as movie cars go for my collection, that was my most sought after car. And because Greenlight made it, I started purchasing more of their stuff, because no one else has made that car, and I've always wanted one. And here, in the midst of it all, I seen this movie absolutely cracked me up. I think everybody that's seen this movie, it's cracked them up. That's I Want to Go Fast. This thing came with a Cougar. I know that there was a model previous to it. I had a chance to get it, but I took this because of the Cougar. I mean, this thing is just something else. The movie was something else, and it looks spot on. That whole scene where they're praying over Kentucky Fried Chicken and all their fast food out there on the table. I mean, it's just one of those crazy, crazy movies. But I mainly collect vehicles this scale that, like I said, from movies, real life, but I don't collect cartoon cars or anything. And bump, get out my way. But I do like movie cars, and I do like realistic cars, And as far as drag cars, I'm not too into it, but Autoworld did really good with these lead sleds. The 69 Kingwood is just something else. It's off the chain, literally. I mean, detail on it. But the real reason I started was right there. That right there. I was putting up my Cadillacs. Thank y'all for joining, and I will post more of my collection up as I go, and I will continue to pig hunt and give y'all more content and things to view. So if you see something you like on the page, let me know. And this is Mini Car Addict. I'm out.